Alright, here we go. Episode 4, Overland Journal. We are on the other side of it. After the week that I had, starting off from the East Coast to the West Coast, nuts and bolts falling off, gas tanks pressurizing, breakers blowing, knocking out my power systems on the truck, bad exhaust systems, wreaking absolute and utter havoc, and oh yeah, wildfires, driving through a wildfire, plus the heat wave. But that's all over. I finally made it to the West Coast, and it was well worth going through hell, because I have found heaven. And you're going to want to sit back, you're going to want to relax, and you're going to want to check this out. Now, before we jump into this, make sure you hit the subscribe button right there, as well as the little bell right beside it, and click on all so you get notified of every video. Because we live in a nanny state and YouTube helps lead the charge, they decide if the video is proper for you to see or not. And they do little tricks like this so that you don't even know a new video's out. It happens to the best of us. Hit that bell, hit the subscribe button, and hit all, and you should be good to go. Now, on to the show. Well, it's Tuesday morning, and I am in Bigfoot country. There are big bugs, animals, and trees. I mean, right off the bat. Welcome to the Oregon Coastline. It's utterly amazing. Bald eagles just soaring through the air. This land is your land, this land is my land. It epitomizes everything that America is, and so many people have never seen it. It is utterly amazing. A little slice of heaven. Can't say it enough. It stands to reason I had to drive through 3 days of hell to get here. 9 a.m. I've been heading down a mountain pass for the last 1,500 feet. So we're going down, and it's amazing that I hit one-lane traffic again. Every place I go, there's a guy with a flag telling me to go slow. The forests of Oregon are exceptional, amazing. These aren't even redwoods, and they're massive trees. It's amazing. Most people I know on the East Coast will never see this unless it's in a book or on television. A book. Who reads books? Jerks and hippies. I've been ascending for the last 2,000 feet. I haven't been at 3,000 feet in days. Slept pretty decent last night. Woke up with a massive headache. I was expecting it, and here it is. Just didn't drink enough liquid yesterday, so playing makeup today. Altitude headaches hurt. At any rate. Okay, it's 10:30 in the morning, and I am in Oregon, and I might as well be in the Garden of Eden. Been in the desert of Colorado, Wyoming, Nevada, Oregon, and I've been at altitude for days. And now I'm back to 300 and something feet, sea level, and there is life everywhere. I love it. You gotta love it. You gotta love it every day. So the last video I titled How to Overland Like a Pro. If you want to be an overlander, first of all, you need a base. You need subscribers. You need people following you. I've got that. Second of all, you want sponsors. Now, that's where it gets a little murky for me because I'm a little bit too honest. Lots of people have sponsors and they promote their product, but here's the deal. A lot of the products they promote won't cut it, period. I went through 4 separate refrigerator freezers, 12 volt for the back of the truck, till I finally found a Snowmaster, and it is, hands down, bar none, period, the only one that actually delivers. Period, straight up. The other ones will eat too much juice, they'll kill your battery overnight, or they just don't do their job, or they come apart. I've had a lot of different people offer to sponsor me, and I've said no. Because their product just doesn't cut the mustard, as they say. And then the people that I would like to sponsor me are afraid because they know that if something goes wrong, I will tell you about it. But here's the deal. If they give you an item and it works, but then it fails, but then they make it right, all is well. I've had a few times, too many, where it fails and then they may, well, it's because you have it in your truck, or it's because you drive your truck, or because you take your truck off-road. Yeah, that's bullshit. And here's another thing. When I'm driving, I am constantly listening to my truck. I am constantly feeling my truck, and I'm constantly aware of any smells. Because grease from a burr field that has made its way out of the burr field and onto the motor smells. And if that happens, you've got an issue. So fortunately, I've pretty much been able to catch any and all problems before they've gone catastrophic. Things like my front brake caliper lower bolt disappearing in the Blue Ridge Mountains. I caught that before that went catastrophic. On this trip right here, my knuckle bolts making their way out. I found that on the Bonneville Salt Flats before it went catastrophic. And that's because I constantly check. People with newer vehicles, I don't know. I'm driving one of the most capable vehicles ever built, period. And I'm gonna stick with it. Does it have its downfalls? Hell yes. The thing eats gas. It's impossible to explain how bad the mileage is. Even with a freshly vacuumed and purged and charged AC system, after 12 hours in a heat wave in the desert, she finally started blowing not so cold air. You know what? That is what it is. If you're driving through the desert during a heat wave, you're an asshole anyway. So I'll take that one for the team. And just try to be ready for anything. Things that you know that can break or that can fail, carry spares. I've got probably 200 pounds of spares on the truck. Well, it's 2 o'clock Pacific time and I am at the Pacific Ocean. I'm on the Oregon Coastal Road. So after driving 7 days and going through pretty much every calamity that Mother Nature and Father Toyota could throw at me, I finally made the pass through the tunnel. And when I came out of this tunnel, it was like the pearly gates opened wide. The Garden of Eden, a slice of heaven. Take a shot of whiskey every time I say a little slice of heaven in this video and you'll be shit-faced halfway before it's over. I guarantee you. At any rate, here we go. This is what I thought when I saw the road for the first time going to their house. This is the road my friends live on. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is like driving into a fairy tale. These two don't mess around. That's the beauty of them. These are my adopted parents. Unbelievable. Yeah, that view sucks, huh? That's ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Are you kidding me? This is how you live. For real. This is how you live life. I've been to their other house, and it's beautiful, but I had never been to their house on the Oregon coastline. And as soon as I came around the corner, the first thing I see is the Pacific Ocean. They literally live directly on a cliff face over the Pacific, which was amazing for me. And we've got reams of footage that's going to blow your socks off if you've never been to the Oregon coastline. Here's a just small sample of their front yard. I launched the drone directly off the grass, right down to the water. It was spectacular. And I live on the water. So for me to say this is spectacular, it's spectacular. I'm going to show you everything that I saw in as deep of a depth as I possibly can. How's that for terminology? At any rate. So it's 3 p.m. Pacific time, and I made it to my friend's house. And this is their house. Exactly. Tish and Ace do not mess around whatsoever at all. And these two actually took me on a guided walk all the way down this beach to look at sea anemones and look at this incredible arch for which this cape is named. Now, you may have heard me refer to Steve as Ace. That's his name. And when you hang out with people named Ace, chances are at some point you're going to be on one of these. Because as good as the drone footage was, Ace had a feeling we could get an even better shot. And when you hang out with people named Ace, chances are he's got a chopper kicking around someplace. And he did. It's good to have friends in high places. No pun intended. At any rate, we'll get to that down the road. Let's stick with the timeline for now. So this is my first full day in Oregon, and I've already walked 7 miles on the beach this morning. Got a bunch of video, which you've probably seen or you're going to see. And now I'm driving down the Pacific Coast Highway looking for a food store because I need some food that's not garbage. I've been eating poorly the last 10 days because of all the different roadblocks, etc. that I've run into. But I gotta tell you what, to me, the Oregon coastline is heaven on earth. And it's funny that I had to drive through hell to make my way here. But I'm here, and this is what I've seen thus far. So directly next to the house is a little path that leads to a fairly strong set of stairs that go right down to the beach. And the beach it's just utterly magnificent. It's a little slice of heaven. Drink. Or don't. You go down the stairs, you walk over some incredibly smooth rocks, and then there is the beach, the Pacific Ocean. In the landscape, the texture is just utterly amazing. So much different than the East Coast. You have to marvel at it. And I did. It's amazing. They have wildlife, pelicans, seals, whales, sharks, surfers, but it's cool. The rest of the country's having a heat wave, and down here it's 20 degrees cooler at all times. Perfectly comfortable. And the beauty of this is you have the ocean in all of its mighty expanse directly in front of you, and you simply turn around and you have old growth rainforest for all intents and purposes, with rivers dumping into the ocean. It's a magnificent ecosystem unlike anything I've seen anywhere else in the United States. It's amazing, totally amazing. You can walk down the beach and gather numerous shells or a veritable cornucopia of sand dollars. And the strange thing about the sand dollars is the star is offset, unlike the ones we have back home where they're centered. And then you simply turn around while standing on the beach from looking at the ocean, and you're looking at old growth rainforest. It's all I can call it. I've never seen anything like this other than it's a rainforest. It's amazing. It's an amazing juxtaposition between the ocean and the trees, all in one spot. And yes, I said juxtaposition, and it wasn't even Sunday. Now, we have sea urchins and sea anemones back home, so it's nothing new to me, even though these were more abundant and colorful. What amazed me is they were at the foot of a forest, literally. That's incredible. So Oregon is strange. It's not even 8 o'clock in the morning. I've already walked the entire beach, and I already rode the mountain bike back up the hill to the main road and back. And it's cold out, but I'm sweating. You know what I mean? It's a strange environment where you find deep sea animals like sea anemones and sea urchins 20 feet away from the forest. I've never seen anything like that. It's definitely an amazing ecosystem. And I mean, the Pacific Ocean just makes the Atlantic look lame. You see what I mean? The waves are just bright white, majestic. The only time we have amazing waves is when there's a storm, so you have to, you pay for it, put it that way. So there's a very small window of time when the tide is fully out that you can make it down the beach and through the actual arch for which the cape is named, Arch Cape. And Steve and Tish took me down there, all the way down there, and we got to walk through some dicey water, but we made it. And the view was utterly incredible. I can't possibly stress enough how it was, once again, grab your glass, a little slice of heaven on earth. In some places, I was at risk of getting whiplash watching a falcon dive into the ocean or a pelican dive into the ocean, fly away with whatever it caught, or try to, and then you simply turn your head in the other direction and you watch a murder of crows chasing a bald eagle. It was just, again, a little piece of heaven on earth. Because I love this stuff, and you should love this stuff. You know what I mean? The American bald eagle is a beautiful, amazing bird, and crows are kind of dicks. But, you know, they do their thing too. Plus, they can talk. Did you know that? You didn't? Aha! Well, check this out.
Ravens are excellent at mimicking sounds they hear. Mischief, can you say hello?
Hello.
Good bird. He does all sorts of voices. Can you say hi?
Hi.
Good job!
That's amazing. That clip was from a YouTube channel called Talons and Teeth. Links will be below. So even though crows can be dicks to other birds, they are pretty cool. And there was 2 of them that lived on the beach. They were always there every day, no matter what. So I like that, at any rate. The only problem with this place is if you have a camera, or multiple cameras like some jerk-offs I know, you can't stop taking pictures because everything is so photographic. Everything is so colorful and vibrant and alive and amazing. The rest of the country's having a heat wave and they're trying to keep cool while the weather here is exactly perfect. Exactly and utterly perfect. The roar of the ocean lulls you to sleep every night. The wind keeps you from sweating your ass off. It's amazing. It was one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. But the most beautiful thing about this is the arch for which the cape is named. This arch is stunning. It looks like a dragon's mouth open because the cutout for the arch itself appears to have teeth right below it. And then Ace pointed out the fact that there were 3 large, I'm talking bigger than building, stones that were pyramidal in shape, and they looked just like Orion's belt or the Pyramids of Giza. We just happened to notice it, and you can only see it when the tide is fully out, which is why we had to hustle down here and get this done, because the distance from the house to the arch was not conducive to not getting wet, which we did, but we all took it like troopers. And again, with the unique ecosystem of the forest right next to the Pacific, you get beautiful steam, fog, and clouds rolling over the top of the mountaintops, and it's just amazing. You can't help but take a picture. But as you can see, this is a long walk, and I got the drone footage sped up 250% for the brevity of the video, because YouTube has upload restrictions, as you may have heard me say. Right there you can see the 3 rocks that appear to be 3 pyramids when the water is out, and they look shockingly similar to the Pyramids of Giza. And I verified that with Tish and Ace because they've both been to the Pyramids of Giza, so they said yes, indeed, it does. And I thought that was badass. These 2 are my tour guides. They're both in their 70s, and they have more energy and life in them than most every 10 people I know, put it that way. The colors, textures here are phenomenal. This is a photographer's paradise. I'm trying to get this on video for you guys the best I possibly can, because if you've never been, you're missing out. When I was a little kid on the East Coast, my grandfather used to walk around the rocks on the ocean with me, and there were a couple of natural archways, but they were nothing like this. I'd have to say the East Coast just doesn't compare, not from what I've seen, and I've seen a lot of it. This is just utterly unique, to its own. It's the best way I can possibly say it. It's magical. You expect to see pirates burying treasure or a dragon flying out of something. It's just amazing. The animals, specifically birds that live here, are protected. I'm not going to show that in this video for the sake of brevity again, but when we took the helicopter ride, we had to be very cautious of disturbing nesting birds. And when I fly the drone over the nesting birds, I stay within 400 feet and I simply zoom in. That way it doesn't bother them. Plus, as many views as you'll get having a bird attack your drone, you don't want to have a bird take your drone out, because that absolutely can happen. But this is just an amazing place. Look at this. Utterly amazing. And just a little bit out to sea, all these large rocks have thousands of nesting birds of all types on here. Mostly cormorants from what I could see, but it's tough to tell. Every morning, pelicans would fly down the waves like they were surfing, catching fish. It was really spectacular. But, like everything, the day finally had to come to an end, and it was closing fast. So we headed back to the house, because when the tide comes in, you ain't getting back to the house unless you're a real strong swimmer. And JailBreak Overlander is not a real strong swimmer. I swim like a large boulder with a safe attached to it, if you know what I'm saying. So check this out. Here's some more first world problems, and here's some more prepare all you want and you're still not prepared enough. Before I hit the road, I kept planning on leaving, and life kept saying no. I had plenty of time to get prepared, and I have a controller that controls all my drones, because otherwise you're using your cell phone as part of your controller, and sometimes every time while you're flying your drone, someone will call, someone will text, and you'll lose contact with your drone. So I got one of these. This is the DJI Super Controller that is expensive, but it controls more than one drone, so it's perfect. Plus it's got a bigger screen, and I'm old, my eyes don't work half the time. Right before I left, I was trying to videotape a shark at my house, and I left my controller on the hood of my truck and woke up the next day and it was soaking wet because it poured all night. Long story longer, before I left, I updated all my drones. I did firmware updates like a camera, and I updated this, and I just tried to fly 2 miles down the Pacific to a rock formation I was at this morning, and nearly lost every single drone. One of them said the batteries didn't work. One of them said it didn't bother recording. And the other one told me it was coming back, and I got in an argument with it. It said it was out of battery, and I said, no, you're not. So it's just funny. I made sure these were all ready to go. As soon as I got here, none of them were ready to go, and I almost lost one. So there's that. I just thought I would pop that in. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed this. That was my first day on the Oregon coast, and that was 10 days ago. And I have footage from Mount St. Helens, the Redwood Forest, and everything in between. I hope you enjoy this. I'm putting a lot of time and energy into this so that you can see what I can see, especially those of you that can't actually get out and do it anymore. I'm living it now while I possibly can, because you don't get a warning shot when your check comes, if you follow what I'm saying. At any rate, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below, and as usual, I will try and return the favor. I am out.